Hey there folks, Caleb Downing, and today we're going to talk about the KGM R556 suppressor. Let's get into it. Alright, before we actually talk about the can, let's get disclaimers out of the way. KGM did send me this can after I requested it from them, so thank you KGM for sending this thing out, and hopefully we can really talk about it and show you guys, you know, some of the features that this guy actually has, which is pretty stinking cool. And again, since this was given to me, if you gotta take what I say with a grain of salt, you do that, but as always, we give our honest opinion. Not having to spend any money on this, it alleviates me from any need or perceived need to defend a purchase. I get to just talk about the can, talk about its qualities, what it's good for, not good for, and all that stuff, and I don't have to defend the purchase of it, all right? So if you wanna know how much these things cost, things fluctuate all the time, I would highly advise you just to go over to KGM's website, check the stuff out over there, and then go find it at a dealer if you want to go actually get one of these, all right? So, let's get into specs, because specs remain the same, even though price has changed and stuff, and let's get into some of the features of this can. We'll talk about it, we'll shoot it, and then we'll give our thoughts on it, all right? So let's go ahead and talk about specs. All right, so the R556, we have a size and weight here of 16.4 ounces, that's the weight, 6.4 inches, that's their overall length, and 1.5 inches in diameter. Compatible cartridges are 223 or 556, so it's a 22 caliber, not rimfire, caliber can. Material and construction, 316 stainless steel baffle stack and 316 stainless steel tube. So all 316 stainless. It has a flash mitigation system that they utilize in a lot of their cans, which is supposed to help with visible and other spectrums of light flash. So we can't test other spectrums because we don't have night vision and stuff, but we can look at the flash that comes out of the can and see how well it compares to maybe some other cans. This can also uses their adjustable port end cap, or APEC. This is basically an e-brake, for lack of better terms, that's built into the suppressor. It helps basically work as a brake on the end of the can. This has a gas optimization system, which they call their integrated gas flow, so it helps the gases flow through the can, not just get stuck in the can and then vomit back in the shooter's face. It helps get those gases away from the shooter. That's the intent and design behind it. Mounting solutions, it says right here that KGM R556 features a 1/2x28 5-port muzzle device taper mount paired with the KGM's proprietary secondary ratcheting retention system. So what that means is this is not a hub mount compatible mount in the back. This is the can all in of itself, and there's no changing anything about this guy, right? It has a built-in QD system that works with their muzzle devices and only their muzzle devices. And whereas sometimes that's like it's a red flag, like I personally don't like it a lot of times when companies do that, but I can see when they do something like this, they're making this can to be an extreme hard use can. I mean, that's part of what's labeled on the box, is this is a heavy use 556 can. This guy's made to be shot a lot. That's why it's steel. It's not made out of titanium or any of this other stuff. This is a stainless steel can. So it's heavy use, right? And so as such, it uses a very robust locking system and mount, right? So I'm not gonna fault them for that. You gotta keep the cans in their wheelhouse. Not one, there is no one can that's gonna fill every single roll out there. And this is a heavy use can. So if you don't need that heavy duty system and you want some versatility, then this isn't gonna be the can for you. But if you need a can that you can just go to town on and I'll worry about it, well, this might be something you might want to look at. All right, so that's the specs and the features of the can. Let's talk about what comes in the box. So everything you see right here is what comes in the box. You obviously get the box itself. You get a tool. This is a takedown tool, and you might be thinking, well, I thought this was like a sealed can. You don't take anything apart. I'm going to show you something. These guys have been building cans for a while. They know what they're doing. They've been building cans for other companies for a while. They know what people need. And this tool is pretty genius. I've already used it at least once. In the field, and this is smart. I'll show that to you in a minute. You get some swag stickers, because everybody needs some swag stickers. This looks like something else. It looks like Star Trek or something. Anyway, that's these guys. You also get a thank you card for supporting a veteran-owned company, and you get these bags. These bags are cool. I have no idea if these are heat resistant to any significant degree. But what is super nice about these bags is this provides a very nice way to store the bag, to store the suppressor, or to transport the suppressor. Generally, I take my suppressors and throw them in a big bag, and that's how I tote them around when I go to the range and stuff. They're not in their individual little boxes and stuff. No, they're all in one big bag, you know, safe and secure and all that stuff, but they're going to be rubbing around on each other and scratching things up, which in my mind is fine because I treat them like tools. But for those people that, you know, they want to keep the cans looking nicer, or you just have one suppressor and it's easier to find this than it is to find the suppressor rolling around in the bottom of a bag. This is easier to keep hold of. Also, it has a little cutout here on the side, on the inside, little pocket. You can keep your tool, stick that down in there, and again, everything's nice and safe in here, and it's not going to be getting dinged up and scratched up. That's actually kind of nice. I like that feature. Talking about features, we've kind of already hit on it a little bit. Let's actually talk about it. The mount that comes with this guy, I just went ahead and put it on a piece of chopped off barrel so we can really talk about it. This is the mount that comes on this guy. It's a flash hider. Okay, I think they said 5-port flash hider. It's a flash hider that has a taper, coarse threads, and then teeth. This is, again, this is a very robust system made for heavy use, right? So you would put this on whatever your host might be. It's nice that this is not directional. It's not a brake that's directional. So you can just, without shims or timing or anything, I would just take some Rockset. If I was really going to use this on one of my dedicated guns, I would put some Rockset on the threads, tighten this guy down, let it cure, and call it good. And this guy's not going to come off. And the way you attach everything, here's the suppressor side that you have here. You got these little cutouts. We'll show you what those are for in just a second. You have this little lever right here on the side, and this little lever is basically how you get the can off. It's the unlocking mechanism, right? It's spring-loaded, so it's going to keep tension. So basically, to attach this guy, you would simply put it on the barrel. You hear it ratchet down. Once it stops, it stops. I would not sit there and go heyday and try to get one more click out of it. It's very secure. I have not had this guy try to come off one iota at all. The cool thing that I was talking about with this takedown tool is if for some reason, and it has happened, I'm not exactly sure how, but it has happened to where you push the little button, see the little button on there, you push that little button to try to unlock the suppressor and get it off. Right now we don't have it tightened on there. If you over tighten the can, that's probably what I ended up doing. But if you push that little button and it won't come off and you need to get some tension or some torque on this guy and you just can't get it, that's where this tool comes in handy, all right? So this tool's got one tooth, and it's basically, it's kind of like a straight line right here, and then it starts to curve. You basically take, get it to where you guys can see this. You take the tool, you set it in one of those teeth, and hopefully you can see that. You see there's a gap right there? As you press down, do you see that? As you press down and apply pressure, you're applying it in the correct direction to unscrew the suppressor, but it is going to press down that locking key, which is going to allow you to grasp the barrel or whatever you need to be grasping on. And as you twist this guy, he's going to unlock and twist the suppressor off and break it loose. And then you can just push the little button until you get it past those teeth and unscrew your suppressor. I think that is an attention to detail thing that I thought was worth noting. I'm trying to think. I don't have another suppressor that utilizes a lockup system similar enough to this to where this would work. There's probably some out there, but the other systems that I'm thinking of, they're not like that. This is almost like a key, right? To where this guy can unlock the suppressor and get it taken off. I think it's genius. Maybe I'm overthinking it, and it's just, you know, super simple, but I think that's genius, and in my mind, that shows a lot of attention to detail. So that is the suppressor. That's what comes in the box. That is the specs, the data, all those things. Let's go shoot it, and then we'll talk about what we actually think about the can. All right, so there you go. That's the R556, and as you saw, we shot it on. It was only on 556 hosts or 223 556, because that's all we had. You could shoot, what would it be, like 224 Valkyrie, because it's the same bullet diameter. Probably would sound pretty good, but this is a heavy use can, and a 224 Valkyrie generally is going to be like a precision gun, right? So putting this on an AR would be fine. Putting this, I think, what their intention would be to put it on like a machine gun, basically a belt fed, and I don't have one of those, so I'm not going to test that. But sticking it on a heavy use 556 gun, this guy did well. This guy did really well. Even when we stuck it on the little 7.5-inch gun, I was surprised by how well this reduced. If you've ever shot a 7.5-inch 556, those things are loud. 556 was never intended and designed, even the AR-15 was never intended to be designed as a 7.5-inch gun. That is very short, and if you shoot that gun without a suppressor, you have a fireball the size of this table. It's violence at its best, right? It's just very, very concussive and loud and violent. This suppressor did a phenomenal job, in my opinion, of even taming that muzzle blast, which is crazy. In my opinion, that is nuts. Like, if you have seen a 556 shot that short, you know just the volume of fire that comes out of that thing. That the fact that this guy was able to tame it that well on a 7.5-inch gun, I was very impressed. And if you were to use some higher grade ammo that had some flash retardant in it or something, instead of just the stuff that we were shooting, which is the cheapest stuff I can find, you would even do better. So I was very impressed. So if you're in the market for a 556 can that is very robust, yes, it has a proprietary mount, but it comes with the mount, so I would be thinking you're going to stick this on one gun. This might be something to look at. A very robust, a very well-made suppressor. Not excessively long. This is actually, I mean, some might even almost consider this a K can. It's not super long. I mean, if you chopped off much of this would be a K can, right? We have some other competitor cans that are very similar sized. I think this guy might be a little bit heavier, but the functionality of this guy it blows me away. Right. All right, so I'm going to quit beating that dead horse to death. We'll leave it at that. If you have any questions about the R556, please let me know. We will be doing a rundown of all the 556 suppressors that we have, and as we get more suppressors, we'll be able to add to that lineup, and this guy's definitely going to be interesting to see stacked up against other suppressors, especially ones that are in its size, like in its weight class, basically. So that'll be very interesting. But if you have any questions before we post those videos and shoot those videos, let me know. And if I can answer your questions, I will. If I can point you in the right direction to folks that do know that answer, I'll do the same thing there. But there you go. I appreciate KGM for sending this thing out. Pretty solid can, I will say. A very solid can, very robust. That's it. You guys be good, you be safe. Appreciate you guys watching, subscribing, and everything, and hopefully we'll catch you in the next video. See you.